Waverly Hills, St. Asylum. Bitch, that's... girl, I will see you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jennifer from 90 Day Insider. And today we are talking about one of the most unbelievable transformations reality TV has witnessed. A transformation that has left fans stunned, critics speechless, and even Tammy herself emotional beyond words. Yes, we are talking about Tammy Slaton, the star of 1000 Del Sisters, who has recently appeared in public looking almost unrecognizable after her skin removal surgery. And trust me when I say this, no one was prepared for how different Tammy looks now. Not even the most loyal fans who have followed her journey from the very beginning. When the world first met Tammy, she was in a very dark place. She weighed over 700 pounds and was struggling every single day just to breathe, to stand, and sometimes even to stay alive. Her life was a constant battle with her health. Every step required effort, every breath was a reminder of how fragile her body had become. She depended on oxygen tubes to help her breathe, wheelchairs to move from one place to another. And the emotional frustration that came with being trapped in her own body was overwhelming. She often used humor or anger to hide how deeply she was hurting inside. But behind her jokes and her tough reactions, there was a woman who felt lost, tired, and scared. Her clothing was another reminder of how limited her life had become. Tammy had to wear size 8XL clothes, not because she liked the style, but because that was all that would fit her. There was no room for fashion, self-expression, or personality in what she wore. Her outfits were not chosen to stand out, they were chosen to hide. Plain shirts, oversized pants, colors that blended, not ones that reflected who she truly was. It was as if she was trying to disappear in a world that already refused to see her beyond her weight. But everything began to change after a near-death experience that shook not just Tammy, but her entire family to the core. Her oxygen levels dropped dangerously low. Her heart was strained. Her doctors told her that she may not survive if she continued down the same path. That moment was a turning point. For the first time, Tammy didn't just hear the warnings, she felt them. For the first time, the fear of losing her life was greater than the comfort she found in food. And in that moment, Tammy made a decision that would change her entire future. She decided that she wanted to live. She entered rehabilitation, something no one believed she would stick to. But this time, things were different. She pushed through the exhaustion, the weakness, the frustration, the emotional breakdowns, and the painful moments of hunger and temptation. She stayed. She fought. She kept going. Slowly but surely, Tammy lost enough weight to qualify for bariatric surgery, something she had been denied many times before because doctors believed she was not ready. But this time, she was ready. The weight loss journey was not easy. It demanded sacrifice, discipline, letting go of emotional patterns, and facing feelings she had avoided for years. But she continued. And the results were not just visible externally. They showed up in her confidence, her independence, her spirit, and her ability to simply breathe without struggling. After losing hundreds of pounds, the next step was the skin removal surgery. This surgery was not just physical, it was emotional. It was symbolic. It was the shedding of a past version of herself that she had fought so long to escape. And then, weeks later, Tammy stepped out into the world again. And the woman who appeared was not the Tammy the world once knew. She was smiling, relaxed, comfortable, free in a way people never thought they would see her. Recently, Tammy attended a Pride event in Henderson, Kentucky, and the pictures that surfaced from that event broke the internet. Fans who saw her in person said they did not recognize her at first. Tammy was dressed in a simple white t-shirt and faded jeans. Her hair was slicked back neatly. Around her neck, she wore a bright Hawaiian flower lei, full of color, brightness, and joy. But what stood out wasn't the clothes. It was the confidence. Tammy was standing on her own, talking comfortably, smiling naturally, engaging with people. There was no embarrassment in her body language, no heaviness in her expression. She looked like a woman who had been given her life back. One fan said, "I ran up to her and she was so kind, so sweet, like she really appreciated the moment. She talked to us like she genuinely cared." This is not the Tammy who used to snap out of frustration, anger, or emotional exhaustion. This is a Tammy who has found inner peace. And it's important to understand that Tammy's transformation is not just physical. For years, she turned to food for comfort, for emotional relief, as a coping mechanism for loneliness, sadness, pain, and unresolved trauma. Her journey required her to address her emotions, her mindset, her history, and not just her weight. Tammy began to understand her triggers. She learned how to ask for support instead of turning to food when she felt overwhelmed. She learned how to sit with her emotions instead of trying to numb them. She learned how to choose life over patterns that were destroying her. Today, Tammy eats with awareness. She focuses on small portions, balanced meals, hydration, and protein. She walks more, moves more, participates in events, interacts with fans, and expresses herself. She tries new clothing styles, explores colors, accessories, hairstyles, things she never allowed herself to imagine before. She is no longer hiding from the world. She is stepping into it. And what does this mean for her future? It means independence. It means confidence. It means she can travel more, experience more, live more, love more, and simply be present in her life without being held back by her body or her past. The Tammy we see now is not the same woman we met at 700 pounds. This Tammy is stronger, softer, happier, and more aware of her worth. She is learning to love herself for the first time. Her story is not just a weight loss journey. It is a story of survival, a story of breaking cycles, a story of fighting for life even when life felt impossible to carry. Tammy did not just lose weight, she found herself, and the Tammy standing today, she is free. She is free.
When you all were out there, this is how you made me feel. And we could have been like, hey, sis, that was not our intentions.
Tammy Slaton has become a living example of how determination, patience, emotional healing, and the courage to believe in yourself can completely reshape a life. The Tammy we see today is almost unrecognizable, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Her journey has not been easy. It has been painful, complicated, filled with obstacles, setbacks, losses, and moments of hopelessness. But today, Tammy stands in a place many thought she would never reach. Not only has she lost more than 500 pounds, but she has also rebuilt her identity from the ground up. From someone who once hid from the world, avoided cameras unless sitting in the same fixed position, and could barely walk a few steps without needing oxygen, Tammy is now walking confidently, going out in public, smiling, taking pictures with fans, and living life on her own terms. Her transformation is not just about weight loss. It's about finding the courage to live again. One of the most noticeable changes is in her clothing. When Tammy was close to 1,000 pounds, she couldn't experiment with fashion at all. She couldn't wear jeans, fitted tops, or accessories that suited her personality. Clothing selections were not about choice. They were only about what could fit her body. Oversized t-shirts, large muumuus, shapeless dresses. That's what defined her wardrobe. Her clothes hid her body, but they also hid her identity. They covered a woman who wanted to be seen but felt invisible. But now, after losing more than 500 pounds and undergoing life-changing skin removal surgery, everything is different. Tammy now chooses outfits that make her feel confident, vibrant, expressive, and proud. She wears colorful tops that show her curves, fun accessories that highlight her personality, and jeans. Yes. Okay. Jeans, something she once believed she would never wear again in her lifetime. The simple action of being able to walk into a store, pick up a pair of jeans from the rack, and know they will fit is something that symbolizes freedom for her. It is not just clothing. It is a statement. I did this. I earned this. Her newfound confidence is especially visible in her public appearances. Once upon a time, Tammy avoided public gatherings. Mobility issues, constant pain, and the emotional weight of being stared at, judged, or pitied kept her isolated. She rarely left the house. Even going outside for a few minutes felt exhausting and uncomfortable. But now Tammy attends public events, interacts with fans, and speaks openly about her journey. She doesn't shy away from being seen. She embraces the spotlight with grace and gratitude. Fans who meet her say that she is kind, warm, open-hearted, and genuinely appreciative of every interaction. She takes selfies, laughs, talks freely, and radiates a happiness that can only come from healing. These public appearances are not just about fashion or social presence. They are proof that Tammy has found a new sense of life, one filled with purpose, connection, and freedom. Her transformation sends a powerful message to anyone struggling. No matter how impossible life looks today, change is possible. Season 7 of 1000 LB Sisters captured some of the most emotional, transformative, and heart-touching moments in the Slaton family's journey. The season finale was not just another episode. It was a tribute to how far Tammy and Amy have come. The sisters and their siblings, Chris, Amanda, Baze, and Misty, took a trip together to revisit the memories, places, and moments that shaped their lives. This was not just a trip. It was a journey of reflection, acknowledgement, closure, and emotional release. Their first stop was the old duplex, the place where Tammy and Amy first started filming their YouTube videos, the videos that introduced them to the world. Seeing the location empty, demolished, and gone was emotional. It represented the life they had left behind, the struggles, the pain, the memories of Tammy being unable to walk to the mailbox or Amy trying to support her while dealing with her own challenges. Tammy remembered the days when she relied on oxygen just to breathe, when every step felt like her body was failing her. And now she could walk that same distance with ease. It was a full circle moment, a moment that silently said, "I survived." The trip continued to the home of Jesse Odom, the man who has been a father figure to the Slaton siblings for over 36 years. Jesse has always supported them, guided them, loved them, and encouraged them, offering stability where life lacked it. Visiting him reminded the family of the emotional backbone that helped them endure years of struggle. For Tammy, fitting inside a tractor seat for the first time wasn't just playful, it was symbolic, a sign of victory, a sign that the body that once held her back is now allowing her to live fully. They also visited the junkyard, the place that once held one of the most painful memories of their lives. 6 years ago, Tammy weighed over 605 pounds and Amy weighed 406 pounds. The junkyard scale became a symbol of humiliation and fear, a reminder of how far they had fallen. Amy cried seeing her weight back then. Tammy broke emotionally. It was one of the darkest turning points in their journey. Returning to that same junkyard, stepping onto that same scale was not easy. But this time, everything was different. Amy weighed in at 249 pounds, a tremendous achievement. She reminded herself that progress does not have to be perfect to be meaningful. Tammy stepped on next and weighed in at 215 pounds. From 605 pounds to 215, a transformation many thought impossible. When she said, "I'm proud of myself," it was not just a line for cameras. It was the truth finally spoken from a place of healing. The journey ended at the edge of the Ohio River, where the family released floating lanterns, each representing something they were ready to let go of. Amy chose to release old relationships and make space for new beginnings. Tammy, with tears in her eyes and strength in her voice, said that her lantern symbolized everything she had let go of: pain, fear, trauma, self-doubt, shame, all to become the woman she is now. And today, she is still growing, still healing, still transforming. Her story is not about perfection. It is about perseverance. Today, Tammy is no longer defined by her weight, by her past, by her limitations, or by the world's expectations. She is defined by her strength, her courage, her resilience, and her ability to rise. She didn't just change her body. She changed her life. She changed her destiny. And she's just getting started. And she's just getting started.
Cops, they just arrived with the ambulance. But when the cops searched the car, they found a little bag of marijuana.
Tammy Slaton's journey has become one of the most talked about transformations in reality TV history. Not just because of the weight she lost, but because of everything she had to face, endure, survive, and overcome along the way. From struggling to breathe on her own, to relying on oxygen tanks, to mourning the loss of her husband, and to walking fearlessly into her new life. Tammy's story is one of heartbreak, redemption, and rebirth. And now, with her newfound confidence and renewed sense of identity, people everywhere want to know what happens next. Will there be a season 8 of 1000 LB Sisters? And if there is, what story is left to tell? This is Reality Weighs In, and today, we are going deeper into the truth behind Tammy's evolution, her family's new chapter, and what the future may hold. Tammy has shown real dedication to improving her health. From losing more than 500 pounds to staying active and making better food choices. But what stands out most is how this transformation began reflecting in her personality, her attitude, her speech, her confidence, and even the way she dresses. Tammy used to hide behind oversized baggy clothing that she used as a shield, something to disappear behind. Something that protected her from judgment. But now, Tammy embraces fitted jeans, colorful shirts, stylish jackets, purses, and accessories. Clothes that highlight her progress. Clothes that say she is no longer afraid to be seen. Clothes that say she is finally proud of who she is becoming. The symbolism is powerful. It's not just a change in wardrobe. It's a change in how she sees herself. She is no longer the same Tammy who hid from cameras, closed curtains, and pushed the world away. Instead, she is stepping forward, claiming visibility as something she deserves, not something she fears. And one of the biggest signs of this shift has been Tammy's willingness to appear in public confidently, unapologetically. There was a time when Tammy couldn't leave her home. There was a time when walking a few steps to the mailbox left her breathless and terrified. There was a time she didn't believe she deserved to exist in public spaces. But now, Tammy attends gatherings, meets supporters, shops in stores, and takes photos with fans who admire her journey. She doesn't walk into these places hiding. She walks in with her head held high. These aren't just public appearances, they are emotional victories. Every outing is proof that she fought for her life and won. But the journey to this moment was never easy. And Season 7 reminded viewers of exactly how far Tammy has come. The finale took the Slaton family back to meaningful locations, places where their story began. Places filled with memories, pain, growth, and reflection. The old duplex where Tammy and Amy filmed their early YouTube videos. The junkyard where they weighed themselves when no other scale could hold them. The home of the man they've always considered their father. And each stop forced them to confront who they once were and who they are now. When Tammy and Amy first visited the junkyard, Tammy weighed around 605 pounds, and Amy around 406. Tammy needed oxygen just to walk. Amy broke down in tears from the shock of seeing her number. It was one of the lowest moments of their lives and the moment that forced them to realize they needed to change or they would die. So when they walked back into that same junkyard 6 years later, everything felt different. Amy stepped on the scale and weighed 249 pounds, a dramatic and emotional change. And then Tammy stepped up to the platform without fear. The scale read 215 pounds. The woman who once needed machines to keep her alive. The woman who once believed she was beyond saving. The woman the world counted out, now stood strong and steady. Tammy looked into the camera and said, "I'm proud of myself." And she deserved to say it. One of the most emotional parts of Season 7 was Tammy's skin removal surgery. Viewers saw Tammy conquer something that once seemed impossible. The surgery removed around 15 pounds of excess skin from her face, neck, arms, and stomach. The relief was not just physically, was emotional. That skin was part of the weight she carried from years of pain, shame, depression, and trauma. Removing it symbolized closing a chapter she once thought she'd never escape. But this isn't the end. Tammy still needs more skin removal surgeries, particularly on her legs, which will allow her mobility to improve even further. This means her journey is still continuing. There are still mountains to climb, and fans want to be there to watch her climb them. But Tammy's transformation didn't just change her body, it changed her life. For years, she struggled with deep emotional pain, much of it connected to her relationship history. Tammy has often sought love from people who didn't support her growth. Her ex Jerry was accused of enabling her unhealthy habits. The BBW King allegedly discouraged her weight loss and was rumored to threaten her when she tried to leave. These relationships were rooted in Tammy's past sense of self-worth. The version of her that believed she didn't deserve anything better. Then came Caleb Willingham. They met in her weight loss rehab center. They connected over shared struggles and vulnerabilities. Their love was real, raw, and emotional. They married. They dreamed about the future. But Caleb struggled with his own health and addiction battles and sadly passed away in June 2023. Tammy was devastated. She lost not just a husband, but someone who understood her darkest chapters. And healing from that loss changed her deeply. Later, Tammy began dating Andrea Dalton, a woman she met after beginning her new chapter. Viewers saw Andrea briefly in season 7. And while Andrea has a complicated past and rumors surrounding her personal life, Tammy has said she feels supported and loved. What matters most is that Tammy is choosing relationships from a place of strength, not loneliness. As Tammy continues her journey, she stays connected with fans through social media. On TikTok and Instagram, she shares selfies, sometimes with filters, sometimes without. But what stands out most is her confidence, the sparkle in her eyes, the warmth in her smile, the soft laugh that wasn't always there. Tammy isn't performing for attention. She's celebrating life. But the big question remains, will there be a season 8 of 1000 Delby Sisters? Fans want answers. The Reddit threads are loud. The comment sections are buzzing. Some viewers say the show has reached its natural conclusion because Tammy and Amy are no longer the 1,000-pound sisters. Others argue that the story is far from over. Amy is entering a new marriage. Tammy still has more surgeries to undergo, new goals to achieve, and a new identity to grow into. The family still has their emotional dynamics, humor, arguments, love, and chaos. And more than anything, viewers are invested in Tammy as a person. They want to see how she lives now, how she dates now, how she handles fame now, how she stays healthy now. And there's one more reason people believe season 8 is coming. Tammy's story is inspiring an entirely new audience. She is proof that rock bottom is not the end. She is proof that weight loss surgery is not a magic fix you must fight every day. She is proof that grief can break you and still not destroy you. She is proof that second chances are real. When Tammy released her floating lantern in the finale, she said, "I let a lot go." She meant Caleb. She meant the past. She meant the version of her who didn't believe she deserved happiness. That lantern rising into the sky was not just a symbol, it was a rebirth. From nearly losing her life to stepping onto a scale with confidence, to walking freely in a world that once shut her out, Tammy has rewritten her entire story. Whether season 8 happens or not, one thing is clear. Season 8 happens or not, one thing is clear.